All right. Hello, Yoga Kids. Welcome, everybody, to our first Master Mentor Hangout. My name is Sam. I am kind of your pre-host to the new Master Mentor Hangout group. We have on the chat today some amazing people who are going to be talking to you, but I want to hear from you guys first. Over in the chat, over on the right-hand side, I want you to just click hi and write a little note to me. Just let me know that you can hear me, that you can see me, and that everything is good. And I want to know where everybody is from. So let me know where you guys are broadcasting in from today here in our little hangout. And we are going to be talking with Jackie today, and we're going to be talking about those little ones that are running around our place, the pre-yoga kids who are just walking and all the way up to 3. I have a 3-year-old that I watch, and he is running around like crazy, and so we want to learn about how to introduce yoga kids to those little ones. Hi, Jill from Chicago. Welcome to the group. Now, to let you guys know, we are on a bit of a time delay in the broadcast. So when we ask you a question or we look for feedback, there is going to be a bit of a delay before we see it live. I just see Kim. Hey there, Kim. And Kathy. Hi, Kathy from Canada, all the way in Canada. Karen is coming in from New Jersey. Welcome, Karen. And there's Dawn and Diane. Hi, guys. Welcome to our Master Mentor Hangout. This is something that's going to be really cool that we're going to start bringing you guys every single month. It's a way to really immerse yourselves into the Yoga Kids experience and learn in a new environment. And we think that the video and the interaction with the chat and with everything is going to be a really great way to be able to learn from members of our community and grow your Yoga Kids practice. Hey, Don, how's it going? Erica is here. Kim is in the group. Hi, everybody. I'm glad to see you guys in the chat. In a second, I'm also going to open up a Q&A option. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and enable it now. You guys can interact with each other in the chat area, and you guys can ask us questions. But if you have something very specific that you have a question about that you want answered, the best place to go to is the Q&A area, and that the presenters and I can see that, and we can it won't get lost in the chat, and we will be able to address that question to you. And that'll be something, if anything comes up throughout the event, that if you have a question about, use the Q&A box to ask your question. It looks like we're all here. It looks like everybody is in. There's I see Indy in the house and Detroit in the house and LaPointe. Oh, that's Don. Hey, Don. I am done talking. I have introduced the system that we are using, and so I'm going to open it up now to Alicia to start off this this evening's Master Mentor Hangout call. Alicia.
Hey, thanks, Sam. I'm figuring all this out too. This is my first time on this super cool interactive platform. So I just want to thank everyone, YKAs and CYKTs, to this month's all-new Master Mentor Hangout. We are recording this, right, Sam?
Absolutely. This is going to be recorded and available in your membership area in the YogaKids.com website.
Perfect. So as Sam said, we're really excited to have Jackie Morrison, who's been with Yoga Kids for quite some time, lots of great experience and knowledge there, and she's going to share with you some wonderful ideas about teaching Yoga Kids to little ones. So Jackie, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Oh, go ahead. It's all you. Sorry, I muted. Go ahead.
It's okay. All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening to be with all of us and on this really cool new Hangout thing. So thank you so much. Tonight we're going to be talking about creating a taught yoga class, is what I call mine. You can call it whatever you want. You're walking to 3, whatever. But I like the cute little word taught. We'll be a little interactive tonight. I'm going to be asking you some questions so that we can, or I can, tailor this to you so I know a little bit of where you're coming from. So feel free to take notes, to mind map, to lay down and listen. whatever your learning style is, because we've all learned that yoga in our yoga kids that we're just like our yoga kids and we all learn in different ways. So get comfortable, however that is for you, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to start with a question. So Sam's going to do a poll, and our question is, what age of children are you already working with? Ages 1 to 3s, 4 to 7s, 8 to 12s? Are you more the tween and teen teacher, or are you teaching all of those levels? So Sam, I guess if you can go ahead and do your magic to get that rolling in and see what kind of response we get. I am not hearing you, Sam, but I think you're talking.
You'd think that the technology guy would know the technology, wouldn't you? Everybody, I just opened up a poll for you guys, and I see some votes already coming in. If you want to make answer that question, what age are you guys currently teaching in your practice? Go ahead and answer that poll. We are on a bit of a delay, so any time that we ask a question or we look for interaction, we are a couple of seconds behind you guys in the live stream. So just be aware of that.
And I understand, Sam, I will not be seeing those. I don't see those polls coming in, so you'll just tell us, right?
I'll let you know.
Okay, all right. Well, while you guys are answering some of those, I'm going to go to why would you want to hold a talk class? So some of the reasons that I started kids classes are that they're held during the day when my child's already at school, which I'm all about, yay, because I so many times am having to schedule classes around my daughter's schedule or pick times or her other activities and stuff. So I really like to do classes because I could do those during the day. Some of the other benefits of those is that it's easier to find studio time if you're working in a studio. You can negotiate maybe a better rental deal or a better areas are has classes in the morning, they have them in the evening. A couple places, of course, have your lunchtime type of nap. So I found that I was able to negotiate. So of course that would there. Families don't just have one child, which I do, but others don't. So by we're able to build those classes. So many brothers and sisters that come to classes, but what about their little brothers or sisters? Way for us to start to build those classes. We start them young and they go with us all the way up until they're teens, or if we're adult teachers even, we can move into there. The other thing is I like to build that community of young moms. I mean, I remember back when my daughter and like, what am I going to do? What do I do with this little thing? And to me, moms was so valuable for me. So the way I teach my talk classes is that we incorporate the moms and we do building a nice community for those new moms.
Okay, so Jackie is actually, we're going to have to get her to reboot a little bit because she keeps kind of coming in and out.
Oh.
So it's an internet connection thing. Yeah. If you could maybe quit your browser and restart it, and then we can hopefully get a better internet connection with you.
Okay, so go ahead and log all the way off then and come back.
But Alicia, so
yeah.
we're looking kind of at everybody, and it looks like we've got a broad range of ages that everyone seems to be teaching. So we've got people who are teaching 1 to 3 years old, 4 to 7 years old, and even the tween to teens. So that's a wide range of kids that that YogaKids can reach.
Yeah, I was going to ask while we're waiting for Jackie to come back on if anybody had specific questions already for this particular age group, because then we could, entertain some of those questions while we're waiting for Jackie to come back on, or even when she gets back on. So maybe that's something they can ask for those who are interested in teaching this population and haven't taught them yet. How many did you say we're teaching the little ones already?
It's kind of an even split.
Okay.
There's a few people who are really focused on the little ones, but we've got people who are 5 to 7, 6 to 11, and then of course the tweens and the teens. And we got all right. Jackie's back. Is your internet connection a little bit better now? Yeah, she's probably still logging in.
We can see her, but
Can you hear me?
There you go. Hi.
Okay.
yeah, Jackie, Sam was just saying that the poll results came in that it was pretty even across the board for the ages, that they're pretty much teaching all ages pretty evenly.
Okay. All right, great. So am I cutting out, or so far so good?
So far so good. So we're going to just chalk it up to a bad internet connection and move right along. So you're all ready to go.
Too fast, and I get all animated with my hands. Okay, so we did talk about why you might want to do some talk classes. Now I'd like to move on to, marketing your talk. With like-minded people. So in this case, I like that. So a lot of people find, they're going there trying to save a little bit of money and to create a nice community of new moms in those areas. Of course, your preschools, your community centers, always good. And the way that I do my talk classes is I love the reading comes alive with yoga is my favorite element. So libraries, obviously. Libraries are just like the number one places that I really like to go. But, work with the people in your community. Find out how you can work together. So I find those to be the best places to get that word out there that you're holding these awesome talk classes. So some logistics, because I hear this a lot, like how in yoga to YogaKids, so under 3, walking to 3 are the ages that I with. And when I talk to parents who want to come to my class, I do suggest that when they're walking, they're pretty stable walkers because our class gets pretty wild, pretty physical, lots of running around, and I do like them to be pretty stable in their walking. So walking to 3, I do require that caretakers attend the class and they participate. So moms, dads, whoever it is that's there, they're not sitting around the perimeter of the room and just watching you. They are actually participating as well. So I think that's very, very, very important. I still set my class up in a circle in our traditional YogaKids way. Nice circle with the mats. I put out enough mats that the children could choose to sit by themselves if they would like, or they can share the mat with their mom or their dad. I do find that majority of the time when they first start coming to class, they like that extra little comfort. This is all new. I want to be close to mom and dad. So they share the mat with their parent. And I think that's great. I mean, that's completely fine. Usually after about the first month or so, I do find that the children then are comfortable with me, comfortable with the environment, and willing to maybe step out a little bit and be a little bit more independent and have their own yoga mat. So that it's up to you, of course, how you want. I'm just sharing with you what I do and what I have found great success with. As far as pricing, I price my top classes just like I do any other YogaKids class that I have. So there's no different amount because they're little. So you guys know, you're out there, you're teaching, you know what your market is holding. Go with the same amount. I do find that whether it's my top classes or any of my other YogaKids classes, that's really important to have a minimum or a maximum and have that arrangement preset with your studio, library, community center, whoever, to make it a win-win situation for both you and for the studio. So for me, I like my class to be, my maximum is 8, because you really think about it, if you've got 8 little guys there, you really have 16 in the class because you've got the parents. That's just a lot of energy for my location of where I teach. So it's nice for me to have that 8-ish or so. Sometimes I find that it's really nice to have a helper. Even though mom and dads are there, or the caretakers are there with the child, it's still really nice to have someone to kind of help out occasionally. Of course, that's up to you and how you deal and what you're comfortable with. But I do like to have someone there just to kind of help out, as well as it's nice if it's a yoga teacher, because I find that if I end up having to be out or I'm sick, it's really nice that there's somebody else that can be in the class to take the class that the children are already familiar with. It's very important at this age to keep those children feeling like they're in a safe environment. That's where they really thrive. And a lot of that is that familiarity. So that's the other great reason that I like to have a helper with me. So developmentally, what can you do with tots? What can you do with these little guys that aren't going to be completely crazy and you just want to like pull your hair out? So I think this is the first time, if you have 1 to 3-year-olds or you have had, try to put yourself back in that time thinking, what was that like when they were that little? And try to remember some of those things. Some of the top things that I like to point out that relate to this class that you'll be setting up is that this is the first time, this age group is the first time when the children are starting to be a little bit more independent. They've learned to crawl, now they've learned to walk. So they are getting a little bit further away from mom and dad, exploring a little bit more. So you want them to feel comfortable in these extra stages of independence and knowing they're going to run away from mom and dad. They want to be on their own mat. Now they want to be back on mom and dad's mat. And that's good. That's great. They obviously have very, very short attention spans. So you got to be moving. You got to be moving. And lots of movement. But at the same time, there's lots of movement, but you got to bring the class back down and some quiet times, and then move it back up and bring it back down. So that's how I teach my classes and find great success in keeping their attention there. So always on the move. Developmentally, children at these ages, they are learning, they've learned to walk, or maybe they're still getting a little steady in their walking. And the next stages from that is they're learning how to run, they're learning how to kick, they're learning how to jump, how to stand on one leg, and how to walk backwards. Now I bet all of you just thought of at least 5 different yoga poses right there, YogaKids poses, that you can use that you're either running, kicking, jumping, standing on one leg, or maybe even walking backwards. So we, with our class, we're helping them to develop what is developmentally appropriate at this age. Just kind of giving them that extra in a fun way. So talking begins some of these ages. Of course, more to that upper end than the walking ages, but different kids have different abilities. So talking is starting to begin, verbalizing, so lots of singing. And again, you guys that know me, I am not a singer. So I do a lot of music with my classes, but I do sing with them, and I do like to have that singing and have the parents get comfortable with singing with you. I think that's very important. Toilet training is starting about the same time. Hence, the caregivers are there because I'm not doing potty training. I've been there, done that. So that's, I think, very, very important. Lots of music, like I said. When you guys were at your foundations, you guys have heard the quote, I'm sure, that children can learn anything if they are moving and dancing and singing. So that's exactly what we're going to have them do. We're just staying with that same theme that we do with all of our older kids in our YogaKids classes. We're bringing that just into a smaller, littler bite-size pieces. So although the children, I said, are getting a little bit more independent and they're moving away from their parents, they still thrive in an environment where they feel safe, where they feel secure. And part of feeling safe and secure is to have consistency, to have a routine. And that's whether you are at home with your children, if you're setting up and you work at a preschool, or if you're just doing this simple little class. I do have my classes scheduled at an hour. You can do, of course, anything that you think, but within that hour, only 30 minutes of that is actually a scheduled out routine. And we do the same thing almost every time, or the same activities, and we always have one new little thing. So that's just what I find to be the best way to set this class, which, hey, for you guys, good news, no more sitting there rolling over your lesson plan, spending an hour or 2 hours on a lesson plan before you have to go teach that 45-minute class. So spend your time, get your lesson plan down, see how it works, and give it a try. I would suggest, unless it's a complete disaster, but even at that, I've had classes that I consider a disaster, and I stay the course. Stay the course. They will thrive and love that they know what to expect every single time. First, we sing the Om song, and then we move on and move on. And I'm going to take you guys through one of my little mini classes. So definitely keep your class lesson in the same routine. Best thing, if you take nothing else away, that's the top thing I would say. Materials that I need, that I take to my class each week. I have a playlist of the same songs that I use. I have a battery candle. So this is like what's so cool that I get to see you guys, or you guys get to see me, I guess, is that I get to show you all my goodies. And you guys know your little candles that light up. The other thing that I like is a flower. And I have like a little fake flower here, and I have other different ones. Occasionally I have a real flower, but I do try to keep it to be a fake flower, because you don't really know for sure what kind of allergies the child might have and that. So I think that that's important to think of. If I do know that there's not too many, I even use a little essential oils and I put it on my flower. We use that to teach breathing. A storybook. I always have, and I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite stories that I use with this age children. So those, I like to bring that. And our famous breathing buddies, can't forget them. And I don't use, all of my supplies for my talk class are left at the studio. So I don't use our furry little breathing buddies with this age because, as you guys know, this age, everything ends up in their mouth and they're chewing on my walrus, and then there's slobber all over him and he's all gooey and nasty and, don't want that. So actually I have little breathing buddies. They're these little plastic guys, and then I can throw and wash them each time, and with the soap and the water, and I can disinfect everything in that, because these little guys they don't like the washer very well. They don't come out so well. So breathing buddies. And the other thing I like to do is I like to have some lotion, because we do a little mommy and me massages, or daddy and me massages. So lotion. Those are what I take to my class. So a little bag of toys, because like I said, my class is a 30-minute structure. That other 30 minutes is free play. So I have whatever's appropriate, and I kind of change it out a little time. So I have like balls and dolls and trucks and shape sorters and little plastic dinosaurs, and that type of stuff. I keep everything in a bag that's hidden behind me, so nothing is seen, nothing's out in the open, for the kids to be, you know, what's going on over here? What's going over there? They know that I have my magic bag, and nobody goes in my magic bag, and then it just sits right behind me, and I just reach back, grab what I need, and continue on with the class. So moving on to, I'm going to walk you guys through my class. I hope that's helpful. So each week we begin with the Om song, and we all learn the Om song in our training. And with this, as we talked about, the kids are not, probably a lot of them are not able to, oh, I see you guys are asking questions. Yeah, let's do some questions. Definitely. Let me see if I can see how I can see these questions.
I'm coming back. So we have actually 2 questions. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
We have 2 questions from the group, and they're actually really, really good, questions that are, the one that Kim wondered was really, what is the difference between a Baby and Me yoga class and these YogaKid classes that you are doing for tots? And can you kind of elaborate on how those 2 are different?
Yeah, well, for me, and that's the only thing I can speak from is my opinion how I teach. When I teach a baby class, and I have done that, they're not walking yet. Those are babies, and for me, those classes are really geared more towards moms doing the movement, and they have the baby along with them. So you might be trying to think, like for instance, you're doing like a warrior kind of pose, and you can put the child on your little leg and kind of bounce your leg and up and down, maybe. But for me, those classes are geared more towards mom and kind of maybe a postnatal type of deal. And the children are there along for the ride, sort of. But I'm just saying, for me, that's how I've taught a baby class. I do know that there's others. When I teach a class that's really for the babies versus maybe more for the parents, then that class for me, and I'm a massage therapist as well, I have that. So I do like infant massage classes and that. So that's how this is different. This class is all for the kid. Moms and dads are doing everything, but the focus is the kid. The focus is not that mom's gonna, I don't know, strengthen her core more. As a side benefit, yeah, she probably will. But it's not geared towards mom or dad. It's all about the top and their development.
That's awesome. What area are you in, and what do you charge for these types of questions? These types of classes.
So in my area, I live in North Florida, and it's not the yoga mecca like South Florida can be. So all of our kids' classes may go a little bit less than what I've heard in other areas. So I'm trying to think. We have, if you just do a drop-in class, then it's $12, and then we have different other. If you do a punch card, you can do like four classes, which would give you a month. Then it drops down to $10 a class. So that's kind of how I do my, and it's the same for a tot or for my teen classes. It's both the same. I do also, we offer a family class or a family punch card, and then it's a monthly rate, and I can't think of what that is at the moment. It's maybe about $130, $150, and that would include parents coming and taking classes, teens taking, anybody's taking classes, anybody in the family comes to class. And it's just like a monthly type of thing.
Cool. Well, then let's talk about a little bit of the structure of the class and how you put it together.
Okay, great. So as I said, structure, keeping it the same. So every class come in, kids sit in their little circles. We start with the Om song, go around the room, sing the Om song to each and every child. And, as we talked about a little bit ago, a lot of the kids really aren't talking yet, and that's okay. That's okay, but developmentally, they're learning to clap, so you get them to hear the rhythm and clap while you and the parents are singing the song. So, getting a little Bridge of Diamonds in there, obviously, definitely some of our musical musings. Then I like to start with introducing a little vocabulary, a little inhale and exhale. Those aren't typical words that you're using with toddlers. I see no reason why not. They'll learn them at some point. You can, of course, use breathe in and breathe out, definitely. But a lot of them at that age don't understand what that even means, like to breathe in. So that's where it comes in to be very helpful to use our flower. So we're smelling the flower. So we're going to inhale and smell the flower. And so I'll inhale, smell the flower, invite them to all inhale with me, and then the flower travels around to each child. So each child gets to inhale with mom or dad, and then they exhale. But we just really concentrate, of course, on the inhale to begin with. I mean, this is the first time these kids most of them have ever done yoga or even probably heard the word inhale. So we're inhaling, the flower travels. I invite the children to learn to share. They can take the flower and hand it to their next friend, hand it to the next friend, and on around. So we're learning inhale. Then we learn to exhale with blowing out the candle. And of course, I get this all the time. In yoga, we breathe in and out primarily of our nose. But we have to teach them, it's baby steps here, we've got little guys. We're going to teach them what exhale means, to blow out. Most of them have had their first birthday, so they know blow out the candle, and they're just the exhale. Mom or dad flips the little switch on the bottom, and it goes out. So we learn to inhale and exhale. When it gets to the candle going around, we do talk about the inhale and the exhale. So we all have a flower. We spread our fingers nice and wide, and we inhale from our flower, and then we exhale and blow out the candle. So inviting the kids to go around, everyone is inhaling and exhaling with everyone, but of course only one child has the candle at a time. Again, sharing. Pass the candle around the entire room. So everybody's winning. So getting ready to understand inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. By that time, they're ready to move. They're definitely ready to move. So my first thing, I do everything by music, and I have a little song. It's Fly Like a Butterfly, and we go into our butterfly pose, and so I'll throw out the little ecological echoes. Sometimes the butterfly is very simple. The bottoms of our feet together, and just our knees are coming up and down. After a bit, I want to incorporate and bring into our upper wings, or our antennas can come up and singing the butterfly song. Then we need to get up and get moving. We do a bear walk around the circle, and we always go the same way around our circle. I don't change it up. Older kids, we're changing it up all the time. This age, keeping it simple, always going the same way. You decide if you want to go right to left, left to right. It's up to you. But doing a bear walk, and there's a lot of cute little bear songs out there that you could sing, going on a bear hunt. I personally like a little song, it's the Dinosaur Walk, and it's a really good grounding effect because I have them spread their fingers, their palms, their dinosaur paws as big as they can, and they really are stomping on the floor. And in our studio, of course, it's a wood floor, like it is in many studios. So we really get that stomping feeling, that real grounding through the feet and through the hands. So big bottoms up in the air, and we're walking, kind of even looks like a walking downward dog. Then after that, we flip over, and now we're doing a crab walk in the same way of our circle. And it's the little song Crabs in the Moonlight, and we sing that. And a crab walk, hands are behind you, your feet's up. It's like a table pose. Tummy is up. You could take your little breathing buddy, let him rest on the tummies. This is a hard one, though. This one's really difficult for the kids. A lot of core is happening here. So this is one of those situations where mom is probably going to get a core workout, because we'll invite baby crab to get on mommy or daddy crab and walk around the room. So mom and dad are doing the crab walk, and they have their child sitting up on their belly. So in that case, yeah, we're getting a lot of, mom and dad are getting some core work there. Then we move on to our little song, Head, Shoulders, Yoga Pose. And so it's just like your head, shoulders, and then you go into your yoga pose. So this is the part that changes every week. Those other poses and music stay the same. We get to this song, it's always a different yoga pose that you get to teach them. I choose a yoga pose that goes with my story that's later on. So, for instance, like one of the books that I really, really like is the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, the board version, of course, because it's nice and short, and you get through the alphabet and all of that. And we do tree pose. Is that so? At this point, I would be singing our head, shoulder, and then I'd say yoga pose, and we'd go into tree pose and teach them the tree pose. Not always is tree standing, as we did talk about developmentally. At this age, the children are learning to stand on one leg. So it is a great pose, to start with. However, of course, you can always be a tree laying down. You could be a tree sitting. That's okay too. You gauge your children just like any other class that you're teaching. You are going to go from what you read your class, feel the energy of the class. How are you doing that? Maybe mom and the child are a little group of trees together and they're holding hands. Maybe together you can do your tree pose that we do as a group. Definitely that's completely fine. So they've learned their new yoga pose. At this point, the favorite song that everybody loves is our Goldfish song by Lori Berkner. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard that song. It's so incredibly fun. So the goldfish song, if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like, sleeping in that you're a little sleepy fish, and then you wake up and you think that you're going to go do something. So anyways, we start off, and I don't do fish pose with these little guys. It's child's pose, or our polar bear pose is our fish pose for this, because fish I think is just a little much to be starting off with these guys. I may teach them that after I've been with them for a month or so, but not to start. So we just do sleeping little fishes, and we're on our mats, and we're in child's pose, and you just completely go with the music, and it's lift up your head and you shake your tail, you shake your bottom, and then you run around the mat because you're swimming. And then it's like, oh, the fishy gets all tired, yawns, and runs back to his mat and takes a little nap. So we're back in child's pose. And then it's like the fish wakes up and it's time to take a shower, and you're, showering up everything. And then it's like, wait a minute, we're fish. Fish don't take showers. So let's go swimming. So you're running around the mat again, swimming. You can put in some of this. We talked about backwards. You could try swimming backwards, doing some backstroke. Let the kids go backwards. And then it's, back to sleepy fish, run back to your mat and go back to child's pose. And then it says fishy wakes up and it's time to brush his teeth. So you brush your teeth, and then you're like, wait a minute, fish don't have teeth. Let's go swimming. So you run around, swim. Then the last one is fish is going to ride the bikes. So we do pedal laughing. So your feet up in the air doing your pedal laughing and stuff. And you're like, wait a minute, fish don't ride bikes. So let's go swimming. So you swim, and all that. So if you don't know that song, maybe I'll play a little snippet of it later. So incredibly fun, and it gets so much energy out. I mean, they really are ready to come back and be sleepy fish and lay on their mat. So at that point, we start to bring the class back down a little bit, and we do Itsy Bitsy Spider. So we sing Itsy Bitsy Spider, invite the child to sit in front of their parent or their caregiver, and mom or dad is doing the Itsy Bitsy Spider up their back. So it's kind of like our ABC back rub. So Itsy Bitsy Spider up, the sun comes out, the whole little shiny thing. Of course, you can work with the children and let them start to learn the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Now I can't even get it here. Here we go. And we go up learning that fine motor skills with the fingers touching, and that's of course really good too. We sing two verses of Itsy Bitsy Spider. The first one, mommy is doing a little massage on their back, and then we invite the child to go around behind mom and dad and do the Itsy Bitsy Spider up their back. So really building that connection with them. At that point, they're ready for our story time. And this is where I said with our head, shoulder yoga pose, we've already introduced the new pose for the day. Books, attention span's not long. We got to keep them short. Can't be, the giving tree is not happening. You got to make them short. So I pulled out a couple of my favorites. I showed you guys the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So that's a really nice board book, of course, because board books are always good because they're shorter. They kind of condense everything down. This time of year, I like pumpkins. So fun. It's so fun. It's so little short, and it's like I like pumpkins of all sizes. They're squarish and ghoulish, and really fun, cute, short little book. We all know the Foot Book because we use that, and I love Dr. Seuss. I mean, who doesn't love Dr. Seuss? But anyhow, Dr. Seuss. I use this with my teens. I use the Foot Book, but then I'm using it with my toddlers. Like, it's so rare that you can find a book that you can travel all of those different ages with. So the book's a really good one. The Missing Mitten is a really good one. A little bit later, I'm going to show you some other little activities that I do with the kids. And then Giraffes Can't Dance. And now this one I really kind of thought, it's a little wordy. I don't know if you guys can kind of see, but it's a little wordy compared to the other ones. There's more than one sentence on some of the pages. But I actually had one of my little 2-year-olds, 2.5-year-olds. He came in and he loved this book, and he wanted me to do this book. So I was like, alrighty, let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. And it worked out really, really well. Again, read your class. Sometimes they're going to have a little bit more of attention span, especially if it's their favorite book. So I many times invite, hey, bring in your favorite book, give me a couple weeks, and we'll get through everybody's book. And I may take them. I'm only reading, half of the story. They can't read. They don't know I'm not reading every word on the page. So just skim it through, get through it. Any of Eric Carle's books are good. So, I love the Polar Bear, What Do You Hear kind of thing. And we know when we work with this book with the older children, we do a pose for every single page. But this book, I just pick out one pose. And that's all I'm asking for them to know. And that was with head, shoulder, yoga pose. So that day I taught Polar Bear. The polar bear is the only time they're going to have to do a pose. The rest of the time, they're just going to be listening to it. And if they want to roar like the leopard or be a snake like the boa constrictor, that is okay, of course. But I don't emphasize all of those poses. That's a little overwhelming for them. So just choose the one pose for that. After the story, we go into our breathing buddies. We bring all the breathing buddies out. Put them on their bellies, get them to lay down. It's always the same relaxation music. Mom, go around, squirt a little lotion in mom and dad's hand, and they massage their feet, massage their neck, whatever it is that parents, of course, want to do. After I get the lotion passed around, I myself lay down on my mat, and I put the breathing buddy on my tummy too, because they're going to be watching and doing whatever I'm doing. And if I'm sitting up, then they're like, well, I need to be sitting up. What's she doing? I'm missing out on something. But when they look over and they see that you're just laying there with your hands on your breathing buddy, then they do the same. So I find that works out nice. Of course, I also will invite the children to, if they're not wanting to lay down with the breathing buddy and all of that, to, okay, well, why don't you massage mommy's feet, and let mommy lay down and put the breathing buddy on her belly. So we do that when we come out of relaxation. I always have them hold their breathing buddy and make eye contact with their breathing buddy and tell them thank you. Tell them thank you, whether they can verbalize that or not. And then, of course, we do our namaste and bring our hands to our hearts. And we always say, may all the plants, the people, and the animals in the whole world be filled with peace, love, and joy. And we namaste each other. At that point, we put our breathing buddies away, and I bring out all the free toys for them to play with. I offer tea to moms. Kids get to just interact with each other. Maybe they a little bit play together. Maybe they'll kind of play by themselves. if it's a day where I feel like we can do some more connecting thing, we're in our circle, we'll take the ball and roll it like a good activity I do with the chicka chicka boom boom with the ABCs, rolling the ball and saying A, roll the ball. Then they roll the ball to anybody else they want in the circle, we say B. Every time the ball is rolled, we go through A, B, C, D, or we can count. Anything like that. I also, once the children are just playing and that, I try to bring up something to discuss with the moms that relates back to our yoga and at the same time builds a community, but also helps build my class, because I remember back when my daughter was little, and it's a 30-minute class. You're like, oh my gosh, it took us an hour to get here just because I had to argue and get shoes on and get this and that. And, so there'd be days you're like, isn't it worth it? It's not worth it. I'm not going, So I want them to find value in my class and come back every single time. So I teach them one little thing. So not our breathing. Why is the breathing buddy so important? Who doesn't struggle with nap time? Who doesn't struggle with nighttime? We probably all, if you didn't struggle with that, bless you, you're so blessed. We struggled all the time with sleep things. When you introduce the breathing buddies, it suggests that to the parents. Bring your breathing buddy, special little guy that you only do nap or you only sleep with. Bring him in there, let him curl up with you when you take your nap, when you go to sleep at night. Talk about the importance of that belly breath, that deep breathing with their breathing buddies. So those things that we would be talking about in our adult classes of why we do these yoga poses, you're bringing that back to the parents and teaching them, why is it important that I come to class? So maybe you did your polar bear, and the pose you decided to choose was lion pose. So why is lion pose so important for us to teach our children? It's getting ready to be cold and flu season. Some of us I know up north are already probably getting a little bit of cold. How do you help them get that gunk out of their throat, out of their chest? We know that by doing our lion's breath, we're helping to stimulate everything that's going on in here. We boost our immune system by doing that. We also are teaching them how to get the gunk out, how to cough it up. We're breathing out our nose. We got to learn how to do that to blow our nose. So just giving the parents a little bit more beyond why it's important for them to come to class. They're learning. Mom and dad are learning too that yoga isn't just here for social or just for play. Although we know as YogaKids teachers how important that is. We have to teach that to our parents too, to help build our classes, as well as just to be able to touch every one of those children out there. So that's my class. That's what I do. Just a tidbits maybe of a couple other little things that I like to do. Other activities I think that's appropriate. When I do the missing mitten, I have matching. So I have these little mittens that I made. We cut them out, tape them around the room. After we're done with that, the children, can we find the matches? A lot of the same things that you're doing with children that at that age anyways. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I know we're getting close on time, and I do want to have some questions. Those are a couple of the things that I wanted to just show you, other activities that you can do.
Jackie, Karen wants to know about what sort of songs do you use for relaxation?
For relaxation, yeah. Well, I definitely end with the Namaste song, always. But I do just as simple little light songs that I would do in my adult classes even. So I can know how close we are with time and that, but I could play some little snippets. There is I think it's one of the Lifescapes that you could, little compilations that you buy, and it's called Lullabies, and there are some little lullabies. I'm going to undo my things here maybe, and we might be able to play, and hopefully you guys can still hear me and it all works out really well. Can you guys hear that? Mm-hmm. Good. So that was exactly what I said. It's called Lullabies, and it's by Lifescapes, and it's like 4 minutes long. And whatever you choose, just stay consistent with it. Something slow. Do we have other questions?
I think that was a great talk and a great insight. You know, as somebody who looks after a 3-year-old, I actually learned a lot of stuff about consistency and how this actually is more for the kids and teaches the parents some important things. And I thought that was really great. So really fantastic. Alicia, do you have anything from this?
I was trying to think if I had any questions, but Jackie, you did such a great job. I know I've worked with you a few times, and always such wonderful ideas. I love the make sure your breathing buddies are washable because I also made the mistake once of getting rubber duckies, but they had the hole on the bottom, so the kids were like the whole class. So if you end up getting something that's washable, be mindful it doesn't make excessive noise either because they will get totally attached to that noise and squeeze the rubber duckies. So I got that from you years ago to get washable breathing buddies. So thank you for that. Did you have anything you wanted to close with, Jackie? Any great ideas, a last little idea you wanted to share? I know you have a plethora of ideas in your brain, but any last little thing that you wanted to leave us with?
Yeah, the one other a couple other little themes or ideas when you're trying to figure out how you want to set up your classes. Use your books as your theme. Is why this time of year it's so easy with all of the holidays coming up. You can incorporate some fun finger painting things because remember you have parents there with you, and I look back and my daughter's 13 now, and how do I just, love and look at those little handprint things. Some little handprint spiders this time of year, some angels coming up for Christmas. Those kind of things are just so precious, and I think those are great. And take that opportunity to do some of those activities with your classes. I think those are great. Animals, obviously, kids love the animals, the whole pirates and the princesses. Those are always good things. Keep in mind the development of the children. Like I said, they're learning to run and jump, and they're learning to stand on one leg. Don't forget the importance of crawling. I mean, we've learned through our yoga training here, crawling, we got to balance that brain, so it's important. Even though they're 3, they're well beyond crawling. It is amazing. It is great. You need to crawl, as well as from another point of view is the spine and the developmental of our spine. So crawling, always crawl and crawl with them. I love the little game, like I said, with the matching and having them find the mittens. And if you guys live, like I don't live in Florida, mittens, I'm not buying a ton of mittens, but you guys up there, you probably have a closet full of mismatched mittens like I have mismatched socks. So bring those mittens to class with you and do some fun activities with those. Other things are lining up cards, these guys up. Can we put all of the green dinosaurs here and put all the blue dinosaurs here? Having them do those sortings and shaping, those are good activities. Bring in the parachute. Oh my gosh, you are like the total rock star if you bring a parachute. And they love it. And we'll take the parachute and throw breathing buddies on top the parachute and practice some of those other things they have to learn. Slow. How do we move slow? And then we can move really fast, and the breathing buddies are bouncing around everywhere. And then how do we go super, super, super slow, and then super, super fast? And that. So those are just some other activities blend in. Like I said, I keep my class pretty much the same every time. Believe me, they're not. If you a little bit more, and I did want to say that I have taught my class a different way, where the book stayed the same every week, and I used our head to toe book and used it as our warm up to get ready for yoga. So after we sing the song, learn inhale, learn exhale, we have to get ready for yoga, and we read the book.
She got a little frozen. I don't know if she's going to come back. I don't know if she's still there. She's stuck on her head to toe. She's still stuck at the head.
Head to toes and head to toes. We'll have to do it here.
Yeah.
That was wonderful information, though. I hope people stuck around because
we actually the chat is going crazy. You know, Jill has many great ideas. Erica thought this was really useful, and Janine sees how the consistency really is key. So everybody is around. We've gotten a lot of great interaction from our new live Master Mentor Hangout, which was a lot of fun. And Alicia, what can we expect coming up in these events?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up next month in November 22nd, so mark the date in your calendars, is going to be Kim Volenovic, who's one of our trainers, and she's going to be sharing all about her favorite things, Reading Comes Alive, songs, games, and more. So she has lots of years of experience, and as you know, Jackie was saying that Goldfish song by Laurie Berkner, we all have our favorite things. So Kim's going to be sharing with us some of the wonderful things that has worked for her over the many years. So be sure to sign up when that reminder goes out. Towards the middle of the month, sign up, get your link, and be sure to tune in next month with Kim.
Cool, that'll be really great. I'll feel just like Oprah with my favorite things next month. This went really well. A couple of internet hiccups, of course, that we can't necessarily always avoid. Children in the background, which we never can control either, but this was a really great experience. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and this is the type of thing that you guys can experience and expect to see more from us, especially in 2016 as we start rolling out more of these sort of educational initiatives where we come together as a community and are able to interact and work together to develop new programs for our own businesses and for our communities, just like doing pre-yoga kid classes from walking to 3 years old, like we saw tonight. So thanks everybody so much for joining us tonight, and look forward to our next month's call where we're going to be talking about our favorite things.
Thank you, Jackie, so much for all. She just hopped back on
She
with
just
us.
hopped back on.
Thank you, Jackie. It was amazing. Thank you for all the wonderful information. It was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty.
All right,
so
guys, we will see you.
Do we get to stay on or not?
No, we will see everybody next month. Again, Jackie, thank you so much for what a great talk today. We'll see everybody next month.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.